diminish obviously the spiritual value of Ramadan. It's a spiritual month, so I'm not here to give a spiritual lecture. That's not my qualification. Technically, although in the holistic, oh, it wasn't even plugged in? Yeah. in the holistic model, what is a holistic model? We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Mind, body, and spirit, right? So I, of course, wish you all an amazing Ramadan from a spiritual perspective. However, if you are, as we know some people do, if you go into Ramadan and exit Ramadan less healthier than you normally are because of your sleep patterns and the way that you eat, then that is not optimizing your holistic wellness, right? So some of you are going to say, oh man, I don't want to listen to this guy. I love to eat whatever I want. I love to eat all the delicious sweet foods, and I love to stay up all night and watch all the TV shows that come out during Ramadan and all that. That's what Ramadan is for you. If that's what Ramadan is for you, have at it. That's not what I'm here to change. However, if you would like, maybe for the first time ever, to optimize your health during this month, you can do that. Okay, yeah, I don't know why it's showing that. Isn't it supposed to show like the full screen? So you can do that, okay? And I just want to talk to you a little bit about how. And a lot of it is sort of a recap of what we talked about over the last couple of weeks, okay? What's going on?
Yeah, that one.
This one?
The option. No, yeah. You continue.
Well,
Continue.
all right, any questions about that? And by the way, when I was rushed out of your office the other day, I left a notebook, right, with all of the notes in it. So I just got that back. So I still owe you all individual emails for those of you who met with me. So what I'll be doing is I'll be sending that to you. Some of the assignments I don't want you to do during Ramadan, but after Ramadan and after Eid, we'll work together for a couple of weeks individually. And so I'll stay connected with you guys, okay? All right. So basically, there's something I want you to know, a couple of words that I want you to know. Intermittent fasting. If any of you know about that, that's great. If not, look it up. It's something we use frequently, thank you, in the world of holistic and functional nutrition, okay? So intermittent fasting is what we do for people to reduce inflammation, to reduce blood pressure, to regulate blood sugar, to lose body fat. There's so many reasons why we prescribe intermittent fasting to people. Has anyone heard the term intermittent fasting? Excellent. So what is Ramadan? What do I hit here? This. Basically, Ramadan is intermittent fasting, and the tradition has been there in the Muslim world and also other ancient traditions for a long time. And now all of a sudden it's like becoming a trendy thing to do, to intermittent fast, right? What it basically means, it's eating within a 6 to 8 hour window. So people do this. I actually happen to do this every day of my life. I fast for 16 hours. Much of that is asleep. And I eat, as soon as I start the clock with breakfast or lunch, I eat within an 8 hour window. So I eat for 8 and fast for 16. Okay, it's a very healthy, contrary to what you might have heard by industries who tell you, you need to eat all day. Make sure you have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and snacks in between. Eat as much as possible. With all due respect, we don't believe in that at all. Okay, so intermittent fasting is very healthy in that it helps with insulin and leptin sensitivity. For those of you who might remember, I talked about leptin and ghrelin. These are two hormones that basically regulate fullness and hunger. Okay, reducing risk of chronic disease from diabetes and heart disease, cancer, ghrelin levels, also known as the hunger hormone, and the ability to become fat adapted. One thing that intermittent fasting does the best is make you an efficient fat burning machine. Right, so when you do intermittent fasting properly, your body starts to use fat as its preferred fuel source instead of carbohydrates. Okay, and it decreases triglyceride levels, decreasing your risk of heart disease. It reduces inflammation, as I mentioned before, and weight gain and metabolic disease risk is diminished. So sounds awesome, right? Ramadan does that for you, if you do it right. Unfortunately, with certain habits that people have culturally adapted, you kind of derail that. So I want to talk a little bit about that. Autophagy, anybody know what that means? Okay, this is why it happens. Actually, this isn't why it happens. This is probably the most beneficial thing that happens when one fasts. Also, when you sleep at night, if you have healthy habits during the day, this happens to you theoretically at night. Autophagy, sorry about the slides, all weird, is a biological process that clears damaged and dead cells from the body. So when you fast, when you sleep, or when you fast while awake, your body goes into a state of autophagy, which means that your cells clear out all the dead cells. Dead cells happen to be what attract things such as cancer. So compromised, damaged, dead cells are things that your body is naturally designed to get rid of. Most people, because of our habits that we talked about the last couple of weeks, most people kind of start the next day with a whole bunch of non-cleared out damaged cells. And we know this from the functional medicine is starting to prove that your mitochondria, your cellular mitochondria, is much more important than your genetics. Okay, the health of your cells, the powerhouse of your cells, is much more important. And if you got a bunch of dead, damaged, non-cleared out cells, that attracts a whole bunch of disease. Okay? So these cells serve no purpose, but they still linger inside your tissues and organs. And this is why it's important to remove these cells, because they trigger inflammatory responses and they attract diseases. So remember this word, autophagy. This is what happens when you fast well. Okay? It's a miracle, right? Like, I know that we know that from the Islamic tradition, like, you'll fast, you'll be healthy, fasting is good for you, but why? Science is starting to prove exactly why, okay? Again, I'll send this to you. This is from the National Institute of Infectious Diseases. This is what autophagy is. This is basically what it benefits, okay? So if that's not reason for you to occasionally fast. By the way, in the world of intermittent fasting, it's either you do it every day as a lifestyle, or they recommend that you do it twice a week. Sound familiar? Twice a week, Mondays, Thursdays? All right, I'll send this to you also. You all can look through this. This is another 10 benefits of intermittent fasting. It's miraculous for your health, okay? And I challenge you to go Google an opposing opinion about the benefits of intermittent fasting. Go look at an evidence-based science group, not usually attached to an industry. Go look on PubMed. Go look at the studies related to what this does from a clinical, medical perspective, and you'll be shocked. So, as a reminder, mindset, nutrition, movement, and recovery. This is the holistic model. The mindset part is your spiritual part going into Ramadan. I don't want to talk about that, but I hope that everybody has a very fulfilling spiritual Ramadan. However, if you don't feel great, you're not going to have as great of a spiritual experience, right? Same thing, if you don't, from a mind, body, soul experience in this life every day, all three of those have to be sort of intact and working on all levels for the other. So one has to be there for the other two to work well. And if you lose one, it's like a three-legged stool, all right? You lose one leg, you topple over, okay? So I'm not going to talk about mindset, but here are the takeaways that I want to give you guys. Nutrition action items. For those of you who want to do this, remember, we have the group. I'm going to continue. Get on the group if you're not on it. I'm going to continue to give you information, little assignments, keep you connected, captivated by just keep continuing to chime in on the workout group throughout Ramadan. Okay? Minimize consumption of simple carbohydrates, whether it's Ramadan or not. This is crucial. If any of you do have the goal, if you know anyone who does have the goal of reducing body fat, what I just described before is your body turning to its fat stores as fuel, you'll completely shut that off as soon as you stick simple carbohydrates into your body. It's just the way it is. So if you want to use Ramadan in order to maintain lean muscle but burn body fat, you've got to reduce the simple carbs. Everybody remember what those are? Simple carbohydrates?
Yeah.
Rice.
Sugar. I'm not going to include rice in this. There are some problems with rice today versus rice 50 years ago.